1340 a.m. Fox Sports in Carolina as we bring in Sheena. Quick, Sheena, thanks so much for
Hey
joining.
guys,
We're here week 4. So we think week 8, week 9,
I think week 8.
week 8. You know what I'm talking about.
She already know what time it is.
Already know.
Yeah, because I was telling people before the season that if they did not play well, it was going to be by week 8. And if you look at the schedule, they very well could go to Atlanta 1-6, and a loss to Atlanta to fall to 1-7, I think would be the final straw.
We're talking about Matt Rule being fired. For those who haven't picked up on that, like my man ain't gonna make it.
Yeah, because they have you guys Sunday. They travel to LA next week. Come back and play, or I don't know, are they on the road? Either way, they have Tampa Bay right after that. So those are three very tough games coming up on the schedule. And to be honest with you, Atlanta doesn't look as bad as the Panthers do because they're doing a lot more with a lot less right now. So that's a dangerous game also.
Yeah. So you see them every day and you've seen every play that they've had this year in the Matt Rule era. In your opinion, is a lot of this on him or is it personnel? Because I know they've got, DJ Moore and Christian McCaffrey's back and everything. Seems like they have some pieces, but I don't look at an overwhelming amount of talent on the offense in Carolina. So is it a situation where the personnel isn't good enough, or is Matt Rule just not getting the job done?
I think it's the latter. I think that when you look at that roster, Teddy Bridgewater led 4 different Panthers into 1,000-yard performance seasons just 2 seasons ago. You had Mike Davis, who's no longer, who they lost in free agency. They had Curtis Samuel, who they lost in free agency, and DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. So you can't say that the talent and the ability isn't there. It's not like they have a super team, a superstar team, but they have a roster that should at least be a wild card team. At the very least, especially when you look on the defensive side of the ball. Matt Rule and Scott Fitterer have not done a horrible job in the offseason when it comes to free agency and when it comes to the draft. But the glaring issue that they have is at quarterback. And unfortunately for them, that's the most important position. They have not been able to get that position right.
Why is Baker?
I don't think it's
out. Like, is Baker like? I wasn't. I bought into the Panthers this year. They were my hot take team. Like, the Panthers are going to be better than everyone thinks. They might even top the Bucks for this division, who I thought were going to fall off a little bit. I think
you went too far with that.
I'm too far.
You got a little too hype. I mean, I'm a realist. I am. I'm a realist. I do think that I get what you're saying, because if you look at the roster, like I said, this is at least a wild card team. This team should at least finish 9-8. Middle of the pack, maybe even get lucky, you slide into 10-7, but they should not be struggling mightily the way they are. I know it's only week 4, but it just does not look good. And again, you see the schedule that's coming up. I just don't see it easing up or getting any easier. You have an offense that's not just struggling or reeling. They are dead last in a lot of categories in the National Football League. But you're facing a defense that's number 1 in a lot of categories. So that is a catastrophic recipe for disaster, especially for a coach that's on the hot seat. You lost Jeremy Chin. He's out for at least 4 weeks to IR. There's no one coming to save you. A quarterback, Sam Darnold. And you know how dire things got to be for people to be like, is Sam Darnold about to come save the day? So I'm not even like, it has to be bad for them to be looking at Sammy D as the savior.
Yeah.
But people are like, when does he come back? When does he come back? And Matt Rule told us today that it's going to be a while. Like, he's not close to being ready. Even if he were to be, to, I guess, be clear for return next week, he's still looking at like a 21-day window for them to see if he's even game ready. So I don't see any savior swooping in to save the day. Baker Mayfield, I was thinking that you guys know I was not a huge proponent of Baker Mayfield coming to Carolina, but once he was here, he was the better option through camp over Sam Darnold. And my issues with Baker, I was thinking, it's the mouth, the sass. You get sassy with me, I'm getting sassier. Like, I'm not Michelle Obama. She's an amazing person, but I'm not her. If you go low, I'm gonna take it to the flow. Like, I'm not going high. I'm not taking the high road. It's just not. I'm not doing it. And so, I was hopeful that the offseason would have humbled him a little bit. The way things went down in Cleveland, you pretty much kind of got you got thrown out like Jazzy Jeff on Fresh Prince. You got booted unceremoniously and did not find a team until a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks before training camp. So those things will humble you. He took the pay cut to come to Carolina. So those things tend to humble you. And the first couple of weeks he was here, I felt like he was really making an effort not to give bulletin board material, not to buy into all of those things. But when you're frustrated and things aren't going the right way, you kind of tend to revert back to your old self. And you're seeing that lately when he's getting frustrated with people asking him about the batted balls. And to be fair, those are valid questions. There are other quarterbacks that aren't super tall in the league that are not having this issue. So it's not all quarterbacks under X amount of height or feet and inches are getting their passes batted down like Dikembe. No, it's a Baker thing. And so you can't be offended when people are like, hey, well, are you doing anything to improve? Are there any drills? People are looking, they're grasping for any type of hope. And he just kind of, got a little sassy today.
I got to check this out.
He did. He got chirpy. One of my colleagues, another reporter, asked him if he was doing any drills to help with the batted balls, which again is a valid question. And he said, if you have a drill or if you could find a drill, let me know.
Well, there it is. It's starting already for Baker.
But the reporter doesn't get paid millions of dollars to throw the football.
Right.
You do.
Right.
So that's why, I was just I said, God knows what positions to put me in, because we would have went viral. Like you said, you got to listen to it. You would have heard it by now. If I asked that question and I got that response, we would have been viral. Okay.
That's why I had that shit on here. She keep it a stack at all times.
Right in with our pettiness. Like she right there with us.
We gonna have to talk the shit outside of the Panthers one of these times, man. We
that on a shirt. You go low, we go lower.
We're going to the flow, like limbo. I mean, Earth's crust. We're talking here. Like you're gonna be giving high fives to Hades. Like when it's all said and done. Like I'm not going higher. I'm not taking the high road. Like, because I just feel like there's a certain level of professionalism that you have, and people have to do their job. So the question wasn't an out of pocket question, no pun intended.
Right.
It wasn't an out of pocket question. It was a valid question.
I had
asked him about it after week 2 in New York, and I felt a little touch of sassiness, and I was trying to be a better person then. But like since week 2, I've just given up.
Yeah, I'm watching all Panthers media days.
Oh yeah,
I'm watching them all for the rest of the season. Sheena, before we get you out of here, I want to ask you about Christian McCaffrey. Injury plague season, the last couple of seasons. He's out there. Does he look the same, or is it like still trying to work his way back or something like that?
He looks the same when he gets touches. And I know that the Panthers don't want to lean too heavy on Christian McCaffrey. It's easy to do when things aren't going well. It's easy to check down to him. He has sure hands. He's going to make something shake. He's going to turn, SHIT into sugar as many times as he can. Mm-hmm. But I don't see him a step slower. I think that he's the same Christian McCaffrey. And I think that they were trying so hard not to put the entire workload on him that they're having trouble trying to manage his workload or manage his touches. They only ran the ball 11 times last week. That's unacceptable, especially if the passing game isn't there. You have to open up the playbook and you have to see what he can do. I want to say, was it week 1 or 2? The longest run was a fumble advance. So he didn't even get those rushing yards. So I do think that he's the same Christian McCaffrey. I don't think he's a step slower. I think that there's a challenge in not trying to overutilize him, and at the same time trying to get your receivers into a rhythm with Baker, because that's been an issue also.
Yeah.
Welcome to the family, Sheena.
Yeah, Sheena got to come back, man. She got to come rock with us. We don't care about the Panthers or the 49ers. She's got to come rock with us.
We're going to
I'm not that bad, am I?
Oh, no, you fit right in. That's what I'm saying. You fit right in. Panthers beat right at 13:40 a.m. Fox Sports. Sheena, thank you so much.
Thank you guys for having me. No